but I'll share this with you. I attended this church many years ago before the new church was built. And then they sent me away to pastor someplace else. So when I had opportunity to come back to the community that my husband grew up in, it was such a delight. He was raised in East Palo Alto. My father-in-law was here. So to be able to come back to the community that he loved and now I love was such a joy. So when Mark approached me, I was so excited to say, yes, we would love to open our doors to welcome the community in for an event such as this. I would like to say also that one of our foremost goals, and when I say our, I'm speaking of Mark and myself as well as the committee who will be introduced later. One of our goals was to raise the bar on how we do elections in East Palo Alto. To have a forum that's informative, that's organized, and that where people can come out and hear prepared candidates speak, that's civil and that's dignified. That's important to me, okay? So I just want you to know that that's our goal, and it's our honor to be able to host tonight. If you have not had any of the refreshments, of course we have reception right over to the left. One of the things that we do ask is that there's no eating in the sanctuary, but there is eating allowed on the overflow side. Amen? Because you can see the floors are a little different than the carpet. So feel free to help yourself to whatever you desire. So I just wanted to welcome everyone and to basically share just a few ground rules for tonight, just to make sure that we're all on one accord. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call on a dear friend of mine, another worker in the East Palo Alto community, to come and just offer us a prayer. Amen? Because I think we need to be still our minds and be still the business of today. I'm sure that some of us had to endure some traffic and some stress to get here, but we're here. Amen? So I think that we can change the atmosphere simply by acknowledging those things that we should acknowledge today. Okay? So, Pastor Paul Baines.
Amen. Pastor Baines, come on.
Pastor
Thank you, Pastor Burgess, and thank you for everyone that is concerned about our community, that they would come out and hear these great candidates that we get to listen to tonight. Gracious Father, I'm going to pray out of my faith, so if you are a person of faith, you're welcome to join in. Gracious Father, we thank you again for another day that you have provided for all of us to see. This is a day that was never promised to none of us, but because of your grace and because of your mercy, we are here today. We thank you for the leadership of this church, the open arms that they welcome our community in here to listen on tonight. We ask that you will bless this gathering and that it will be peaceful, it will be transparent, and it will be solution-driven as opposed to problem-consuming. We ask all these things in the matchless name of your Son and our Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. As I stated, my task for this evening was simply to welcome you and to just share some house rules, if for lack of any other term. And if you have not already discovered it, the restrooms are right over to your left. You can exit this way, go straight through, or you can go right back and make a left. Okay, so there's ample there. If there's anything that we can do to make your stay here more comfortable, please don't hesitate to let us know, other than asking for the air. Amen? That one we couldn't pull off, okay? But that's not the only thing that we are unable to do, but I know that people have special needs and things of that nature. Please feel free just to tap one of us and let us know. We'd be glad to take care of it for you. We have what we call some proper decorum house rules that we'd like to share with you this evening. And I respectfully ask that we all just simply abide by them. It'll make it for a better night for everyone. We'll get more done this way. So we ask that no candidates, board members, or event organizers, or anyone for that matter, be allowed in the venue wearing any campaign materials. Okay? So just out of sheer respect, we're just asking you to leave those things at the door. Now, I know you guys picked up literature on your way in. That's acceptable for you to keep. But we're just asking that you don't plaster it across your forehead or anything like that. Amen? The forum is an actual forum where candidates get to present their positions and their responses to predetermined questions. It is not a debate. So we don't go back and forth. It is a forum. And if there's a candidate that would like to elaborate on something that someone else said, there will be time later for that. Amen? Amen. You have to forgive me for that, but I'm a pastor. What can I say? Amen. Amen. Yeah, I can't help it. I can't help it. There is no interaction or debate among candidates. And that means that when the candidates are seated, there's no reason for you guys to hold dialogue with each other than to be courteous to one another. But no conversation about comments or anything to that degree. And then we ask that there be no direct interaction of any kind from the audience. When the candidates are speaking, there will be time for open questions. One thing that we did that we thought really made a difference is we asked the community, what do you want to hear? What do you want to know about the candidates? We actually did that. And we took those responses, and from that, we took the 7 foremost concerns that were shared by the community, and we put those into what we call our forum questions. But in addition to that, we knew that there was more information that people wanted to know. That wasn't quite enough. So we asked the candidates, share a little bit more with us. We gave them 7 additional questions, and we said to them, answer these questions, these 7 additional questions, which a lot of folks cooperated with and did, and we'll actually publish our responses for you. Before you leave tonight, you will receive one of these beautiful programs for all of the candidates that chose to participate. You will find that if there's a question that you want a particular candidate to answer, for example, all candidates will answer. The moderator will pretty much go over that, so I don't want to jump ahead of myself. But what I do want to say is, let's say there's a particular question that you wanted candidate number 6 to answer, okay? And they didn't get that particular question because it's randomly selected. You're going to see how fair that is in just one moment, okay? But in addition to that, all of the answers are in the booklet. So whether they answered live tonight or not, they have their prepared answer in the booklet for you. You will get these as you exit, okay? And I think that's pretty much everything that I was supposed to cover. I covered the restrooms, no eating in the sanctuary, only in the overflow. I do have members of the church here that are available to you. Giovanni Brown, would you please stand? Woo! I know a lot of you know Giovanni, but she's ours. She belongs to St. Mark. She's a proud member of St. Mark, and she also happens to be the preacher's steward. And for anyone who doesn't know exactly what that means, not only does she help me with everything, if I'm not available, she's in charge. Amen? Amen. And that works. And she got the chance to see what that was like for 10 days because I've been gone. To the left here, this handsome young man. Would you please stand up? Hey. This one is Brother Clyde Burgess, my partner in life and ministry. And the other one, stand up, Brother Ernest, minister. He's also a minister in our denomination, Brother Ernest. And he heads up our Celebrate Recovery on Thursday nights right here. Tomorrow night, amen. And I think for those who, I think everyone knows Paul Baines, but just in case they don't, stand up. I'm sorry. I have to do this. This is my part. Let's now acknowledge Pastor Paul Baines, the pastor of St. Samuel Church of God in Christ. Amen? Amen. And I think that concludes my part, and now I will turn it over to my co-host, Mr. Mark Beenan. Amen? I'm getting there.
Thank you guys for coming, especially the candidates. This is for you. It's a chance for everybody to hear what you stand for, what your aspirations are if you're elected. I guess, in addition to thanking the candidates, I want to thank Deborah. She's been awesome to work with and has opened up her church to us, and I can't tell you how much easier that has become. She's put a tremendous amount of energy into the planning for this, and I am so grateful that we are working together on this because I think we complemented each other pretty well. We got together with a group of folks, including Giovanni Brown, Renee Chandler,
Would they stand for the committee?
Hernandez.
Oh, you need to stand for this though, I'm sorry. Where's Uriel?
Uriel's in back, but we did get together. We wanted to have a good set of questions that reflect the interest of the community, both for school board and and for city council. And Melvin Gaines, I left Melvin out. You guys also are helping out. East Palo Alto Neighbors was designed, when I started EPA Neighbors, it was designed for exactly this, a chance for people to come together and discuss important issues and to exchange information, as well as find out about candidates, get engaged in things that are happening in East Palo Alto. When we were planning this, there was a couple people who came to mind for moderator, but the first one that did was Dr. Bernard Giffer, who is going to be the moderator tonight. Bernie is on the board of Live in Peace. He's also on the board of the YMCA. He's about to become an emeritus professor at Berkeley after, I believe, 35 years.
Wow.
He has also, for the education side of things, has run a PhD program for educators, which he can tell you exactly, but there's tens of superintendents in the state of California that have a PhD with his signature on it from Berkeley because it's a night and weekend program. Is this good?
Yes, ma'am.
So Bernie has extensive background in education. He's been involved in East Palo Alto for over 30 years. We're very welcome, very happy to have him. And give a big welcome to our moderator tonight, Dr. Bernard Giffer.
First of all, I want to congratulate Trevor and Mark for pulling this together. As Mark indicated, I've been a community volunteer in East Palo Alto for the 29 years I've lived in the community. I was talking to Brother Rutherford in preparation for the meeting, and we were talking about old landmarks, including the best barbecue joint in all of the South Bay. And when they built the hotel, obviously, the best barbecue joint, the whole area disappeared. And many other landmarks are disappearing in our community. And clearly, we are in a period of great transition. There are demographic changes taking place in the community. There are economic changes taking place in the community. And obviously, during a period of enormous change, there are enormous challenges and there are great opportunities for all of us. So I think Mark and Deborah ought to be congratulated for conceptualizing this forum. And they've done everything possible and this is the initial event, I'm sure there will be others, to create the ground rules and a set of core knowledge that you can access after this live session has concluded. She showed you the remarkable pamphlet, which includes written responses of the candidates. Unfortunately, a few candidates decided not to respond, but the majority of candidates have fulfilled their civic duty by responding to a set of questions. And so what we're going to do this evening is have an opportunity for you to hear the candidates live and up close. In preparation for this event, and also in preparation for the written responses, as indicated to you, the community got together and laid out a list of 7 questions. And what we will be doing today is we will be calling on candidates to respond to some of those questions. They don't know what questions they're going to be asked, but you get a chance to hear them live. So,
can you talk into the mic?
yes. So our first candidate.
This is the way I'm gonna do it.
Right.
What I'm gonna do is have someone come up and verify this. I just
Okay.
want everyone to know that the process
Okay.
is what it's supposed to be. I'll take any volunteer, anyone, just come up and see these sheets in my hand, please. Not all at once. Okay, here he is. Oh, okay. Can you count out these numbers for me, just to make sure they know how many numbers are in your hand?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Okay. Now, I show that the following candidates for the school board are present tonight. If that be correct, as I call your name, let's see here, we need a little something to put these in, because I won't know what they are. give you one of these sheets. You heard that all the sheets only have a single number on them, right? So it'll say which order the candidate will speak in. We have a bag? Okay, let's just use it. That's what I did for you, a little basket. That's what I.
You need a basket?
Oh, he has the basket? So that's perfect, the basket is better, thank you. So this way it's all shook up. So Anna, keep them all in there now. Anna, would you come pick a number, please? You'll be writing whatever number she picks, right here. You want me to write it for you, or you got it? Okay, so if you just write it in for the candidate, what number?
Number 4.
So under 4 is Anna. In that little space. Okay, Tamara? Hey there.
Hey, Tamara.
And you'll see where this is going to make a difference in a few minutes.
No peeking.
No peeking. 2. Okay. You're not putting it back?
No.
Okay.
She could have kept it.
Okay, Laura? I saw Laura. Oh, here she is. Okay.
No peeking.
She didn't. Number 5. Keep it, just keep it. That's easy. Nicole. I think Nicole is the first one here. Why did you pick 1? She was the first one here. 6. Oh, I was trying. And Stephanie. I'd like to also share at this time, in fairness to Stephanie, Stephanie did submit her responses. However, they did not make it to me on time. And for everyone who left their information, they will be sent to you directly. There was a question concerning what happened to, well, just a minute. There was a question asked about what happens to the names when you're signed in. No candidates receive that. That's just for us only, for the organizers. So if there's any additional information that I need to send to you, I will be able to. For example, her information is not in the booklet, but I will make sure that it's for you. Amen? Okay. Julian Garcia.
We know he's the last one, so you know the number he is.
No, it should be another one in there.
Somebody got 2.
Yeah, okay.
What number?
But keep your
He's
number.
number 1.
It should be another one in there, right? No, we had all, what was that, 6 or 7? Only put 6 in there, okay. And then there's someone else. Come on, please. We have 7 questions.
Because I wanted 6 numbers.
There was 6. Another school board candidate? Okay, thank you. Your school board candidate? And you're gonna participate tonight, right? Okay.
Brooke. So you're number 7.
And come forward, please. Yes, please.
Okay. So we have 7.
And you are? Maria. Okay, so Maria, you're gonna make an announcement, right? Okay, that's what I had right. I just want to get it right, make sure I have the right order. Okay. So you have all 7, right?
I have 7.
Right. Maria's gonna make an announcement. Okay, we're gonna give her an opportunity. Huh? Lead? Yes, we're gonna lead with that, Maria. Okay. So at this time, I'm gonna ask everyone to just get comfortable for a few minutes again, and now that we know the order, the moderator will continue with his process. But what we did that because we wanted folks to see that it was a fair process. People, there's a lot that goes on social media about what's happening, and if you see it for yourself and you know that it was done, then you should be able to go out and share, no, that's not what happened. Amen? Amen. You could say, I was there, and they picked the names randomly, and the questions were randomly asked. So we have to share that, because when you come from a community that there's a lot of bitterness sometimes going on. I've been here a short time, but I've observed a lot of stuff already. Amen? So we have to diffuse that, though. I'm serious about that. We have to diffuse that. So we have to go back and say, no, that's not what happened. Here's what happened, okay? So that's why I wanted to share the process so that you can share in that. Thank you. And now we're going to let Maria speak first.
Yeah, we're going to do an announcement about the translator.
Oh, thank you. You got that?
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Si alguien... Okay, it's
All right.
so sorry. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2.
And there's more room in there. Okay, now.
I wasn't doing good. I was doing so well and couldn't tell that. Si alguien precisa traducción, vas atrás y... Y todo aquí para escuchar. Y disculpe para el ruido.
Ernest.
Yes, ma'am.
Sí, buenas noches. Si alguien necesita traducción, necesita alguien para traducción al español, por favor levante la mano.
So we all done with that? Okay, so continue. There you go. So we're ready.
So Marita's going to do it.
An announcement of goodness.
All right. So we're going to start with an announcement from Maria.
Microphone direction.
With Maria, we're going to start with an announcement.
Oh,
So,
gosh.
Maria, here's a
Hello? This is good? Okay. So this is kind of a last minute thing because it took me a long time to come to this decision. After much thought and consideration, as well as many conversations with community members who have encouraged me to run for this office, including my family and a conversation with the leadership of the Ravenswood Teachers Association, I have prepared this statement and I wanted to be here and address you all in person this evening. As a strategy not to split the votes and to ensure that there is a change in leadership at the school district level, I am fully endorsing Tamara Sobomain, I'm going to say it in Spanish, and supporting her campaign. To be clear, I am withdrawing from this race and I will not be running a further campaign. Please vote for Tamara. Her vision to recharge Ravenswood, her vision of uniting our community, and her promise to create policies and systems that promote success for all students are some of the reasons why I will be endorsing her. I will work with her campaign organizers to seek opportunities to ensure she wins a seat on the Ravenswood board. I know she has the best interests of our students and seeks similar changes to improve our school district. In addition to fully supporting Ms. Sobomain, as promised to you all during meetings and conversations, I will continue to be involved in the community and will also continue to be an advocate for the students of Ravenswood by continuing my relationship with organizations where I can directly work with students, and I will also continue to volunteer my time in our community and schools. In other words, I am not disappearing. It has been an honor to be supported and received encouragement by leaders, including strong women who really care about our community, who are empowered and are also seeking change in the leadership of our school district. I thank you all for your continued support of our students and families, and I am proud to be a member of this community. Thank you.
You've all witnessed a process by which we drew the order of the candidates. So the first candidate that I will be putting questions to will be Julian.
But let me get them seated first.
So,
And you're going to be up there.
all right.
Okay.
So Julian, why don't you come up in order?
Well, all this candidates.
Julian, Tamara, Stephanie, Anna, Laura, Nicole, and Brooke.
So you can sit in that order now. Hold on, this podium. Okay, let me see it so we can get them.
Here, let's do one.
Tamara. Thank you.
Stephanie. This is way too much like a pulpit. So here are the question number one, which
Julian.
Speak into the mic. Speak into the mic.
Directional mic, I'm speaking to.
Can you hear me?
No.
Okay, look, I'm a professor, so I can speak loud enough. Can you hear me in the back?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I will do is speak in a professorial tone. I'll speak loud enough so that everyone can hear me, but obviously the mic is not working. I hope the mic will be working here. You want to test that?
Test.
Good, it's working.
Working.
So the first question for Julian will be, what do you believe Ravenswood School District can do to be more competitive and to better prepare and equip our students for greater success as they enter high school?
I believe that the plan for our investigation should be reevaluated
Continue.
and to prepare the students into going to high school. I feel that hasn't been fully implemented. So I think it really should come together to be involved in the planning environments in order to fully prepare our students to go to high school.
So that's it? You have, okay. So we'll now move to the second person. Excuse me. The second question for Julian is the number 3. Right? We're asking all 3
The
questions.
same, go straight across.
Oh, you want each one?
No, let me show you, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't clear, that's my fault.
Okay.
We didn't do our introductions.
No, where they supposed to give them 3 minutes first to introduce themselves, that's on there. So let's do that first. Then we're gonna come back. First, each candidate has 3 minutes for their intro. I think the intro is 3 minutes.
It's 3 minutes.
It's 3 minutes, so they need to do that first.
I thought I
You
just
go-
did
you
this.
go- no, you go straight.
I go straight first. I don't do one. All right.
But it's the same question.
We're doing this for the first time, and I apologize
That's
if
okay.
I misunderstood the directions.
3 minutes.
So what we're going to do now, each candidate gets each candidate gets the opportunity to introduce themselves through a 2-minute presentation. So Julian, why don't we start with you? You have 2 minutes, and then we'll run the rest of the report. So tell us something about yourself. You have 2 minutes.
3 minutes,
3 minutes.
fine.
Sorry, 3 minutes.
My name is Julian Garcia. I grew up in East Palo Alto. I'm 27 years old. And I used to work for the Ravenswood School District and went to school there at Willow Oaks from K to 8. I'm currently working in the Ravenswood School District as a parent educator. And I think we need leadership to move our district forward.
Next. Tamara. So you've had 3 minutes. That's,
He took all the time.
okay. All right.
Hello, my name is Tamara Shigolany. Thank you for having me here tonight. I am running for Ravenswood City School District to recharge Ravenswood. Yeah! Cheer. No, just kidding. Thank you again for having me tonight. I made my way here to the Bay Area about 20 years ago. I hail from Dallas, Texas. I grew up in a small part of Dallas called South Dallas, which is very similar to East Palo Alto and Belhaven in terms of demographics of the population. I left Dallas to come to Stanford University as a first-generation college student.
Amen.
Amen. Right. Also graduated, the first person in my family to graduate college. So thank you, Mom and Dad. But so when I came to Stanford, I'll be honest, I felt slightly out of place, a little different from everyone who's there. Sorry, I'm nervous. And so I went searching for a place that felt like home, some community that I could call, you know, aunties and uncles and play cousins and things like that. And I found that community here in East Palo Alto. So for the last 20 years, since I was 18 years old, I've been here working. I've been working in youth development and education and nonprofit, things like that. I believe it is a purpose-driven passion of mine to advocate for youth education policy and to help students and people reach their full potential. And so that's what I'm trying to do here on the school board. I'm trying to use my skills, my experience, my network, my tools to help people, you know, help our students achieve. So I approach this journey very humbly. I want to engage people along my journey. I don't think I have all the answers. I know I don't have all the answers. but I'm here, passionate, and willing to do the work. I also want to say thank you, Maria, for that endorsement. That's beautiful, and I don't take that lightly. So hopefully I can make you proud. So thank you for having me here.
Stephanie?
Hi, hello everyone, and thank you for having me here. My name is Stephanie Fitch. I grew up in East Palo Alto, and this is where my passion for education started. Reading at the library and with my friends on my street. I started at Flood, but I went through the Tinsley program. And that's a difficult transition to make for any kid, no matter how much you like reading or don't like reading. I went to Pali, and I hated high school so much that I graduated through an alternative program and became a high school teacher. Because I'm the kind of person where when I see a problem, I want to fix it. And to me, I believe that every problem in the world can be solved once you fix education. Once you make education equitable and accessible to every single child, you will fix all the other problems that follow and that plague us. So I want to start here because this is my home. I earned my master's degree in education from Stanford University. This means that I went to one of, if not the, best graduate schools of education in the country, so I could work in schools and make them better and make sure that education can be accessed by all kids. I worked in charter schools, I worked in public schools, I've stood up against a school board as a union representative, as a teacher union representative. And I understand the roadblocks our schools face when leadership does not have a thorough understanding of what it means to be in that classroom, on that front line with our children. So currently I write English language arts curriculum for 6th through 12th grade. The curriculum I write goes to over 300 schools across the country for free, including Ravenswood Middle. My expertise in curriculum makes me a strong candidate for school board because I know what to look for in academic programs. I know what to look for in classrooms during observations, and I know what assessment practices are going to provide us the most valuable and accurate feedback. I want to make sure that our teachers have access to whatever tools and resources that will best support our students, all of our students. In some cases, this is in curriculum or materials like computers, but in other cases, it's access to special education services, special ed teachers, and paraeducators. We need to prioritize the success of every single student. When the community sees the success of all of our students, they're going to have interest in our district. They're going to stay here, and they're going to come here to stay here. I've been endorsed by the Democrats of San Mateo County. I've been endorsed by the FEMDEMs, BAMEC, and most importantly, the teachers of Ravenswood. Now, what this means is that the teachers already have trust in me. And if we want to work together, the first thing we need to do is listen to those teachers. So I hope you'll trust me too. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ana Maria Polito. I have the privilege of being a lifelong resident and member of this community. I'm a product of this community. I have a bachelor's degree in business and a master's in public administration from the University of San Francisco. I currently work at Sequoia Union High School District and am a part of the superintendent's office and the cabinet. And I have spent over a decade working with local community nonprofits that address this educational disparity in our community, like one is Palo Alto, Nuestra Casa, just to name a few. I originally ran for the board because as a member of the community growing up here, I've seen the academic achievement gap that there is. And we have historically been facing that challenge. And I understand that change is needed, it's critical and it's necessary in order to start closing that gap. As president of the current board, I can say that since my time here, I have challenged the status quo and have pushed for changes that include a STEAM curriculum, increased professional development to improve instruction, upgraded facilities, technology in the classrooms, support services for our students, especially with the challenges they're facing today, and an expansion of our offerings that includes a dual immersion program and new comprehensive middle school that we're still rolling out with the intent to better align with the high school district so they can successfully transition into high school. I'm here because I want to transform Ravenswood. And I believe our students deserve the highest quality of education. It's critical that we prepare our students to successfully transition into high school, because then that will open up the door to college. How do we talk about college when we can't get it through high school? That's something that is critically important to me. I believe this can be achieved through rigorous and meaningful curriculum, like project-based learning. The quality instruction through recruitment and retainment of the best instructors, because it's in those classrooms, day to day, that our students are learning and preparing themselves for their educational aspirations. I can assure you that during my time on this board, I have made challenging decisions that were and have been necessary to not only disrupt what has been for the last couple decades, but also maintain stability and create that balance. Because ultimately, students have been the forefront of all my decision making. I know some of you are here today because you are unsatisfied with what is. And I can tell you, I'm not satisfied either. Because although we have made vast improvements and strides forward, the work is not done. We still have ways to go. But I believe in this district, I believe in this community, and I believe if we come together and work collectively, we can push students forward. I also have the privilege of being supported by educational leaders in the region. San Mateo, thank you.
So you're
No, it beats from the start. I was just giving him a chance to beat. So I'm not doing it. That's it. I don't know if I can keep that.
I think we're ready.
Go for it.
So hi, my name is Laura Nunez, or Laura Nunez, whatever you can say. I grew up in East Palo Alto. So my parents moved here when I was in 3rd grade. We moved here from Ravenswood City. And I had the privilege of going to Chavez and then transferring over to Brentwood and graduating from Medicine McNair, which is sadly closed now. Now it's the show, which is fine. In that experience, I ended up going to Eastside College Prep, and I graduated from there and went down the road to Stanford University, where I got my bachelor's. To be completely honest, growing up, I didn't want to be in East Palo Alto. I didn't like what I was seeing. I didn't like the people who were surrounding me. I didn't like the influences that were around me. And so I worked my tail off to try to get out. And it wasn't until I got out, and out was 2 miles away, that I realized that our community is beautiful. And if everyone that can get out gets out, it's never ever gonna change. And so that's what started driving me to come back to the community and help out wherever I can. At the beginning, I didn't know what that was. And so I kind of explored different nonprofits and jumped around trying to figure out what I love doing. It was through my work with the Mural Music and Arts Project that I was able to form a really good relationship with Tam and Tunde and the whole family. And I started to see how beautiful our community is. That's how I got tied into East Palo Alto Academy. And I started off as a TA because I hated math, and I ended up TAing in math because somehow in high school I started liking it. And so I've been working at East Palo Alto Academy for the past 7 years. I'm a math teacher there, I'm an advisor there, and I work, I'm the athletic director there. I have recently started helping out as street code as well, helping our community learn how to code or use computers or translate wherever I can, just so that people aren't so scared of computers and technology, because it's the future. And so although I hesitantly began this race, I'm so happy that I did, because I have been able to meet more people, learn more about our community, and try to start brainstorming ways to help and change what we don't like to see. As a teacher, one of my first assignments in the school year has been for the students to write me letters where they talk to me about their family, about their background, about their educational experience. And a lot of the resounding messages that I've heard in the past couple of years have been messages about wanting teachers that stay, teachers that don't leave them. And that hurts my heart because it's not okay. And I've been at East Palo Alto Academy for the past 7 years, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. And I know that we have teachers in Ravenswood that feel the same way about Ravenswood. So what can we do to support and get more people to stay? Because our students are amazing. They're the brightest little minds, and we need to help shape them. So that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Let's see if we can reset that. Okay. And we will now hear from Brooke.
No.
Is it set? Okay, ready?
Oh, Nicole.
Oh, Nicole.
Hello, my name is Nicole Sabraja. I'm a mother of 2 sons who both receive special education support. I have a 9th grade son at East Palo Alto Academy and a 2nd grader that's at Belhaven. I've worked in Ravenswood as a para until the budget cut layoffs in 2017. I currently work at a charter in East Palo Alto, also in special education as a para. I also work part-time as a security dispatch supervisor in Woodside. I'm a first-generation college graduate, and I've served on Belhaven's school site council. I made the decision to run after the removal of our Belhaven principal, and also the renewal of the superintendent's contract. Parents and I boycotted protests, we wrote letters and emails to the current board and superintendent. We asked for our principal to be reinstated, and ultimately we asked for the superintendent's contract not to be renewed. Teachers, parents, and community came out in large numbers, but the current board majority did not listen to us. It was devastating. I felt helpless, and I felt that our community of teachers and parents had no voice and no power. So there I decided that we needed to have change in our leadership, and that if I wanted to see change in our community, that I had to step up and take charge. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brooke Crosby, and I'm a former administrator who has worked in Ravenswood for the last 5 years. I started my career as a paraeducator, worked as a general education teacher, worked as a special education teacher in an integrated environment, inclusion like we have in Ravenswood, but also in a SDC or a special day class environment. So I have both sides of the coin to pull from, and I've also been a coordinator in Ravenswood, and now currently I'm a program specialist in Palo Alto. I've spent more than 15 years in education and have worked as a liaison to the charter schools here in our community. I've been a professor at a community college and also worked with different area pre-Ks to integrate students with special needs into their classrooms. I've spent my career working with families to increase educational opportunities and to support education in the home, because we all know that's where it starts. I'm running for school board because I'm interested in providing equity, whether that's instruction, resources, or opportunities for a future, and access for all students to the general education curriculum and school, just to be able to attend school. Every child deserves that. I plan to use my knowledge, and so I have a master's degree in special education and also another master's degree in educational administration. And so I plan to utilize the knowledge and the networking that I have, the network of friends and colleagues and mentors to pull from their experience to help make decisions that will be the best for our kids. And I agreed with so many things that was said up here. Tamara, I too feel like I have found my home in East Palo Alto. I'm from Dallas, girl. Don't hold it against us. But really, though, the community that I have found here, I can't speak for you, but the community that I have found here, aunties and what have you, makes me want to stay and give back. And we do have work to do, Ms. Polito. You are right. That's all.
Okay, you heard the instructions earlier. What we're now going to do is ask a set of questions. Each candidate will be asked a question. We'll go around, and then so each one gets an opportunity to answer questions. and there will be a total of 3 questions put to the candidates. So in the original order, the first question is going to be addressed to Julian. And your question by lot is number 1. What do you believe Ravenswood School District can do to be more competitive and to better prepare and equip our students for greater success as they enter into high school?
Having survived the conflict interest of the poor education here in our system, I feel like it's my duty to fight equal rights for all students. I believe that we should start by implementing and building a plan with all community members being involved to fully prepare our students for high school. I believe that the current RMS plan has failed our kids and needs to be implemented.
So that's okay. Same question is addressed to Tamara.
Hi. To better prepare our students, I think we need to really make sure in the elementary years that they are getting those foundational skills down pat. We need to make sure all our students are at or above grade level in both literacy and math, and so that's the starting point. So specific strategies for our middle schoolers to help them with the transition to high school and be better prepared are, I think we need to have more communication with the high school districts where our students feed into to make sure our curriculum and policies are aligning with, their curriculum and, entry point curriculum and strategy, also, number 2, I think our students need more exposure to 21st century skills like tech, design, and entrepreneurship so that they can participate in the economy, the local economy and the greater economy after high school. I think also we need to have earlier efforts beginning in 6th grade when we're preparing our students for the course placement exams that our students have to take mid-8th grade year. Those exams not only determine what classes the students take in 9th grade year, but often they determine the 4-year academic plan for our students. And I know at some of the schools like MA, it's hard to navigate that. Once you're stuck on that plan, it's hard, particularly for our students, to get them out of that. So we need to make sure they're prepared and ready for that. And then I'd also like to foster more relationship building with other middle school students in the area that are also feeding into the local high schools to help our students with those social interactions that they're going to have in high schools. Thank you so much.
Okay. And we're addressing the same question to Stephanie.
Thank you. I completely agree with Tamara, and I think one of the best ways to make sure that our students are getting those really important academic, cognitive, and 21st century skills is to elevate our teachers and make sure that they have the room and the space and the abilities to do what they do best. There are experts on what our students are already capable of and the ways in which they can continue pushing that. I think something else that we need to do that we're struggling with is focus on the special education students. I think once we can get those special education students up and running at the same level as all of our kids, it's really going to elevate the entire community of students. I think also one thing that we need to do is think about the whole child. It's not just the academics and the skills, but it's also the child's identity, their social and emotional well-being. You can have all the resources and tools in the world, but if a student is not emotionally ready to learn, they won't. So I think if we can make sure that we give those kids those skills, starting in early elementary school, talking about emotions and how to regulate them and what to do, those students will be so much more prepared when they come to the challenges that are going to be in high school and beyond high school. So I think that's really important. I think especially for our community that we prepare our students, not just academically, but also socially and emotionally. Thank you.
Okay, we're starting another question with our next few candidates. And this question is, can you make a simple, persuasive case why parents should send their children to the Ravenswood schools?
So a lot of what I mentioned in my opening statement is reasons why we should be sending our kids to Ravenswood Middle School. There has been so many improvements and growth in the curriculum that we are now sharing with our students that is changing the way we're teaching and we're preparing our students. I would also like to say that in
response to Ms. Fitch's comments, we are actually already looking at the whole child and how to support the child. We understand there's a critical need to support students not just in the classroom but outside, which is why we are looking to help address with nutrition issues. We are looking to help with mental health services, counseling, interventions that are happening when we see behavioral issues because students are stressed about having to be homeless or having to live in a home with 3-4 other families. We know that our students are dealing with a lot more than what's just happening in the classroom, which is why we're already proactively seeking these things. Because the reality is that our kids are not faring much better through the Tinsley program. That's the data. The data is showing that in these schools, like Palo Alto School District, Menlo Park City School District, and other districts that our Tinsley kids go to, our students are not academically faring much better than Ravenswood students. So that's giving us an alert. Something's happening with our students, our community, that we need to provide wraparound services. We have quality instruction, we have quality curriculum. We've spent 4 decades of issues at Ravenswood, so change doesn't happen overnight, but change is happening. And we invite parents, we invite community to visit our schools to see the amazing things that are already happening. And we are going to continue to seek to acquire the best teachers, administrators, curriculum, and support services for our students. That's really important, and as the time comes, the superintendent as well. Thank you.
So Laura, the same question. Can you make a simple, persuasive case why parents should send their children to Ravenswood schools?
So as a graduate of Ravenswood, we actually recently bought a house so that when we decide to have kids, we're going to send them to Ravenswood because we love the community so much. I loved going to Ravenswood growing up. I love being able to walk to class. I love being able to know my neighbors and meeting my people around my community. And some of the people that I met growing up are still people I talk to today. I think this is one of the district's strengths. And if you ask me why or how I got to where I am today, it's the teachers from Ravenswood that got me here. It was teachers who believed in me. It was teachers who helped me. It was teachers who saw something in me that I didn't quite see myself yet, but they pushed me. Eastside is half a block from McNair, and I had no idea it was there. And if it wasn't through Ravenswood's teachers and Ravenswood seeing something in me, I wouldn't have known to apply, gotten in, and then the rest is history, right? And so I think that Ravenswood is also very good at helping us learn about community. And it was at Ravenswood that I started to see my love for giving back. As a